Futsal community, welcome to Futsal Proud podcast number one. Our Futsal Proud was launched early in the year by the founder of Futsal Focus, Stephen McGilligan, but due to developments happening behind the scenes, the show had to be suspended. However, we're delighted to be launched again, but this time with myself, Andre Caro, known on social media as the Doctor, as the new host of the show. We have a great list of guests for you to watch, listen, enjoy, and learn from. Guests such as Marco Sorato, Gabriel Lima, Marquinhos Xavier, and many more. It is with a great pleasure that I introduce to you all our very first guest, Luizinho Cruz. Luizinho, thanks for accepting the invitation to come to the show.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the invitation, of course. And I'm really honored to be part of this project, and I hope you guys enjoy the interview. It's going to be really fun to talk about myself and what I think about futsal and everything related to my career and my club and the national team here in Kazakhstan. And let's enjoy it.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show, Luizinho. For the ones that don't know yet, Luizinho Cruz is the goalkeeper coach from Kairat Futsal Club and Kazakhstan national team, multiple times Kazakhstan National League champions, UEFA Futsal Championship champion, and recently finished 4th position in the FIFA Futsal World Cup. Also goalkeeper coach of the world's best goalkeeper, Leo Higuita. Luizinho, before we want to hear about your career, we want to hear about how he's working with Leo Higuita. But before anything, I want to know about Luizinho. Who Luizinho is? Where were you born and where you grew up?
Well, I'm Brazilian, as everybody knows. I born in the city of São Gonçalo in the Rio de Janeiro state.
São Gonçalo.
São Gonçalo, yes. Like my friend and your friend, Rafael Fogageiro.
I was about to say, yeah.
Yes. And I was born there and born and raised. And for a long time, I lived also in Niterói city, also another city behind Rio de Janeiro. And futsal is something that I do for a living since I was a kid. I always played futsal all my life. And when I grew up, I decided to do the physical education degree at the university, and sports. My life is all about sports, doing sports, and especially futsal.
It's always been that way. Luizinho, you say about Rafael Fogageiro is also from São Gonçalo. Is there anyone else from the futsal people from São Gonçalo as well that we would know?
Yes, a lot of people. There's a lot of friends from Brazil and that used to live in grew up in São Gonçalo. There's another one very known player here, Sinesio, from a team that plays against us. He's from my city, and also who else? He's playing here against us in Atirau Club. Kazakhstan club here. He used to play in Joinville, Atlântico, Erechim, and besides him, there's a lot of players that used to play in Brazil. But currently, we don't have much players from Rio de Janeiro due to our championship not being professional here these days in Rio. So we don't have much players growing and playing the main clubs in Brazil.
Yeah. All right. So growing up, did you play futsal? Did you play soccer? What did you play?
I always played futsal all the time. When I was a kid, I used to play this indoor football. I don't know how you guys say in English. In Brazil, you say the synthetic grass. You know.
Yeah. It's 7 against 7, 7 aside.
Yes, 7 aside.
Yeah. So usually we say 7 aside on turf. Turf is the synthetic grass.
Yes, but beside that, just like a year when I was a kid, and most of the time since I was like 6 years old, I used to play futsal in my school, and I play in my school, and then on the second school for a long time, playing championships between schools and being champion, and that's what I did usually.
And were you what position were you as a player?
I was always a goalkeeper. You know, my dad was a goalkeeper, and he had a chance to be professional, but he decided to be a priest. And after that, he
Priest.
decided not to be a priest and be a teacher, to go to the university. He changed his mind a lot of times, and that's why I'm here. And I got the genetics of him, and not only me, but two of my brothers used to be goalkeepers as well, like me. But I did the path of the sports. The others did other paths in his careers.
No,
In
very
their
good,
career.
very good. So yeah, it's interesting to see that you came from your family. In Brazil, we say that goalkeepers have to be crazy. Were you guys all crazy as well?
Yes, for sure. You have to be crazy to put your head in front of the ball all the time. So this is the main thing, you know what I mean?
For sure,
Besides the
very
speed
good.
reaction.
Luizinho, just quickly, as a playing career, we know that you're famous for being one of the best goalkeeper coaches in the world, but how was your playing career? Can you give us a quickly playing career history?
Yes, as I told you, I didn't play too much, especially because in my city, on that time, on the 90s, we don't have much of professional teams, you know, clubs with grassroots categories playing the state championship. We don't have much teams doing that, and it was really hard used to be really hard to have a chance. So currently, you have more teams in my city and Niterói playing the state championships, but in the 90s we don't have much of that, and so because of that I used to play only school championships and between schools. Beside that, I just had a chance to play in professional, not professionally, but in a club when I was 17 on TUSAM in 96. Yes. And then my last year of under 20 or something like this, under 19 or under 20. And then on my first year as a professional, I played for Clube Português in Niterói. And just that, about that time, I was working in Vasco da Gama as an intern, about to finish the university. And I decided to just keep my focus on the university. I just played 1 year, and that's all. I concentrate my efforts on the career after that. I just like played 2 years of futsal in a higher level.
Yeah. So you think that you didn't want to keep on pushing to be a professional goalkeeper?
No, because you know, when you're about to finish the university, you have to work, you have to make decisions on your life, what you're gonna do for a living. And I was really excited to be part of a team. I was working in a club like Vasco da Gama and had a chance to learn with such a players like Alexandre Feller, Tafarel, huge goalkeepers, very known goalkeepers, and I was, that's what I wanted for a living, you know. I really wanted that, and I didn't want to miss that opportunity, you know. That's why, and of course the futsal wasn't professional about that time, and I didn't want to waste my time doing that just for fun, you know.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. Working with, I know you say Alexandre, but Tafarel is the one that is the big name, in my opinion. He won for the World Cup for Brazil in 1994. He's the current goalkeeper coach for the national team for many years. How was?
No, it's not Tafarel. No, it's not Tafarel from the football. It's
the
Futsal
futsal one.
Tafarel. He used to play for the national team also.
Did he as well?
Yes, the U23. He played tournaments for the national team, but he was the other Tafarel. He's from Rio. People from futsal in Brazil knows him, but he's not playing currently. Of course, he's retired. But besides him, I had a chance to work with a lot of other very known goalkeepers in Rio and Brazil. I had a chance to work right after. I'm gonna talk about that. Serginho, one of the best goalkeepers ever. I had a chance to work with when he was already 40 years old, and I had a chance to learn for a season with him, working with him. So I'm really honored to be part of the career of so many good goalkeepers, you know, like Feller, like Serginho, like Igita, like many other goalkeepers.
I was about to ask you that in the early 2000s, when you decided to stop playing and start coaching, how did you get the experience to start goalkeeping coaching? If it was from studying the game or working with some good goalkeepers, how did you learn about goalkeeper coaching at that time?
Well, just a quick reminder about the previous question. I had a chance to play futsal also in the university level. So I played a couple of tournaments with my university, the Federal University from Rio de Janeiro, and just that's what I did. I was also a goalkeeper. My first experience as a goalkeeper coach, I was a goalkeeper coach from the women team of the university also, and playing for the men's team. We had a chance to play a couple of tournaments. But beside that, well, about your ask on the early 20s, 2000 years, I think we don't have much of those kind of courses and lectures to learn with futsal. It's all about the daily basis learning on the interns and also with the goalkeepers. I learned a lot with my when I was intern from in Vasco da Gama, especially because I had a chance to work with 2 or 3 different goalkeeper coaches. The first one was Freddy Antunes, the very known, the Brazilian national team goalkeeper coach. He was my first teacher, and also the goalkeepers. And when I started as a goalkeeper coach, I didn't know how to. My shooting was really awful, and I had to learn also to do better. We're still in learn. We have to keep working. If we stop working, I use it maybe how can I say, I don't know if it's because I'm an awful player, I decided to be a goalkeeper, I don't know, but as far as I remember, I used to play in the goal all the time, because it's something that I realized that I do better than play with the guys. So everybody, we have a friendly match or a friendly play with friends. I like to play.
But even as a goalkeeper, you didn't used to use your feet that much, or you were not comfortable with your feet?
About that time, the rule was different, about that time, the rule was different. So we didn't have more good chances to play with the foot, So it's something that I have to learn with time. Also, especially when I became a goalkeeper coach.
Is that we're gonna talk about Leo Higuita later on in the show, but is that because you were not an amazing player with your feet that you wanted to make him the best player with his feet?
Yeah, it's funny because I never realized that, but it's something that we have to. It's part of the job, Some of this comes from his talent, the mindset, the decision-making process in his brain. And of course, it's not only about that. You need to improve the skills, but it's something that he always did since the beginning. When he was really young, he was really crazy, and that's the reason of the nickname, because he was really crazy on the time that is not too much, not much allowed, that like usually, like these days. He used to get the ball and dribble all the time on the field, because he used to play football as well. So it's something that came in his nickname as well.
Do you know if he ever tried to actually become an outfield player, or he always stayed in goals?
I don't remember. I guess he was a goalkeeper since the beginning of his career.
Yeah.
But he used to play with his foot, even if he's not allowed it. When he was not allowed it, he get the ball and start dribble all the time.
That's funny that this rebellion thing, this freedom that he had, made him the player that he is. Luizinho, do you think that it's important for coaches to have had the experience as players before start coaching?
Well, I don't think it's the main thing, but if you have a chance, it's important, because of course, being in the pitch, it's something that will give you much more experience to understand the players, to understand the atmosphere and all the related things with the sport. But it's not the main thing. I think the main thing is the knowledge. I don't think you can become a goalkeeper coach or other coaching staff position just with your playing experience. Of course, it's good if you had a chance. It's good, but it's not the main thing. The main thing is the knowledge, the way you learn with license courses and university, especially if you had a chance to have a degree, because you were working with players with high level performance players. So you need to understand how it works, not only as a physical trainer, but as a goalkeeper coach, because you're working with the physical qualities of the player. So in order to improve his speed, his strength, his power, you need to know what you're doing, in the right time, and the right quantity of exercises. So I think the most important thing is the knowledge, not only the knowledge of the sport. Not only it comes with the playing experience, of course, but it's not only that.
Understand. And just before we move on, if you could change anything from your early stages, from your playing career as a young kid, or from when you first start coaching, would you change anything? Would you do something different?
No, I think I was a very lucky guy, in my career, because I started to work. Usually people start working with kids and then keep growing and going up and up in his career. But I already started since the first time working with professionals. I started in Vasco da Gama, and then in the second 2002, I worked with the U20 of Vasco da Gama, and then in 2003 I had a chance to start a project in Macaé with Macaé Futsal, and I had a very huge opportunity to work the national league in Brazil, and right on the beginning of my career working with professionals, and had all the support of the main coach, Savio Badini. So I'm really I consider myself really, really lucky to having this chance. Most of these 20 years of career, I work with professionals, so I wouldn't change anything. Maybe if I had a chance to play futsal in some kind of clubs when I was a kid, would be better, because I think I was a good goalkeeper when I was a kid.
Yeah. So do you think you could have made it as a professional player eventually?
Maybe, yes. If I had a chance to work on the earlier stages when I was a kid, I just started late with 17 years old. But if I had a chance to work maybe with 12, 10 years old in a club, I think I would have a chance to be a goalkeeper in the future. But I never thought about that in this way. I just think about how lucky I was, in my career.
Yeah, we have to be just grateful. Luizinho, so in the early 2000s, you changed to coaching. Can you give us a timeline of your coaching career from when you started coaching at Vasco da Gama to your first time working in Kazakhstan for the national team and for Kairat?
Yes, as I told you, I started in 2001 in Vasco da Gama as an intern, and then in 2002 I started as the main goalkeeper coach of the U20 in Vasco. When I was about to start in 2003 with the grassroots categories in Vasco da Gama, I had this opportunity to start this project in Macaé with Macaé Sports Futsal with coach Savio Badini. And then we were there working, and for 4 years, I guess, 2003, 2004, 5, 6. In 2006, I returned to Rio and worked until some with Rafael, with many other coaches, very known coaches in Rio, with U6, U17, and
sorry, at that time was Rafa coach or playing for Tilsam?
Coaching. He used to be a physical trainer of Tilsam in just like 6 months, and then I returned to Macaé for a year. But in the middle of 2007, I switched clubs with Cabo Frio Futsal, and then that was my first chance to work with Luizinho. He was the second year as a professional. He was really, really young and already the number one in Cabo Frio. So that was the first time that we started to collect championships.
2007, he would be around 20, 22-year-olds.
21, I guess.
21.
He's from 86, yes, something like this. And it was the first time. And then we started in Cabo Frio for 2 years working together and being state champions for twice, state champions, playing the National League. And he was already doing the flying goalkeeper very well and getting attention of everybody. When the project finishes in 2009, I returned to Rio and decided to start to work with football for the first time. 8 years since my degree, the university conclusion, I decided to start with football, and then we've been working futsal for 3 years, 2009 to 2012, in Artsul grassroots categories in Rio, and I was really, really confident to keep working. Rafael, about that time, was working in Saudi Arabia and invited me to join him. I almost went there, but didn't happen. But in 2012, Professor Fernando Malafaia invited me to join Botafogo, and then I decided to return to futsal for a year. We've had this awesome season, being like fifth player, a fifth position in the National League. We did a very good job in that time. I returned to football one more time in 2013. Yes. And then in 2014, I had a chance to go to Kairat. Gita invited me for the second time to work with him. And I went to Kairat for the first time in Kazakhstan national team. And we had a chance to win all the trophies on that year: world champions, club champions, and UEFA champions, and all those championships. So we collected in that year.
Who was the coach Kairat on that year?
Cacau. Yes, Cacau. Cacau was the coach for a long time in Kairat. And I had a chance to work just 1 year over there. And here, I'm here again. Yeah. And then I moved to Kuwait on 2016. It was a really interesting opportunity to work in the Middle East for the first time, for the culture and all these related things, to work in a country like this. But it was really interesting. I'm really grateful for that opportunity. And then in 2016, after one season in Kuwait, due to many issues.
So let's just talk about, let's just stop there for 1 second. What were some of the culture habits that they had that you found very hard to work with, or something that wasn't easy for you guys?
Behavior of coaches.
No, behavior of the players, some of the cultural, for example, last year when I was in Dubai, the players were not professional players. They were professional, but they had other jobs as well. Yes.
This is the main thing. Yeah, I got your question. This is the main thing. Just due to the not being professionals, this is especially I came from a club like Kairat, the highest level in the world, and then I have this culture shock with the players, and of course our main coach over there was Paulinho Gambier, and he used to work in Kuwait for a long time. He used to play in Kuwait to work in Kuwait for like 3 years before me, and he gave me all the information that I needed to start and to be patient with all the situations that I would face, as I was goalkeeper coach and strength and conditioning coach. I was two positions about that time, so I had to deal with all the players, but I learned a lot with them about that religion and the faith that they have, and I really respect that. I understand that now. In the beginning was really different from the what we face around the world. But it's something that didn't bother me. But the main thing that bothers me, they are not being professionals. It's not because of them as persons. It's because of the system. They have to work. They have to do other things. They can't. I guess they can't be professionals if they leave the country. Unless they leave the country to work somewhere else, they can be professionals. But in the country, they can't be professionals in sport. So this is the main thing. Not only in Kuwait, I guess, and most of the Arabian countries.
Yeah, futsal is growing a lot in the Middle East. But even last year when I was there, I heard all the coaches talking that it was very not professional, very amateur a few years earlier. And we're gonna have on the podcast, we're gonna have Marcos Sorato. Marcos, he's working in UAE, he's working in Kuwait. So I look forward to listening to Marcos, his opinion as
definitely.
well.
We have much more experience to talk about that. But everything I experienced, I guess everybody had experienced it. So it's something that everybody will talk in the same way,
But hopefully they keep on improving, getting more professional as well. We hear that the clubs that are more professional, they're getting the results now. So hopefully the other clubs are starting to copy and follow the right things to do.
Yes, Luizinho, for sure. I agree with you.
From that year, what happened between that time and your second time in Kazakhstan?
After Kuwait, I had a chance to go to US and visit a sports club from a friend, and he made me an invitation to be part of the club, and we applied the visa for that. And it's very tricky, this kind of application in US, but we did, considering that I had by that time I already have a very good resume for that. And I started to live in US, and it was really interesting, the culture and all these things related to the Brazilians and the Brazilian community over there. I was very confident to keep working there for a long time. But then I had a chance, but this invitation from Kairat was changing the main coach after a long time. Kaká was leaving, and Kaká was coming in 2018, yes. And Igita spoke with me again. We are friends, and so we've been talking for a long time. And he invited me again. I already had a small experience as a strength and conditioning coach, not only goalkeeper coach. And they invited me to do both jobs in the club. He decided me to invite me, and I changed the course of my career one more time, and I left US and returned to Kazakhstan, and that's what I am now. Again.
Are you still the goalkeeper coach and the strength and conditioning coach?
Yes, I had two jobs over here since 2018, and it's really huge. Deal with all the all the things, with the professional players, and especially in this high level. It was, of course, one of the most important jobs in my career, because I had a chance to be strength and conditioning coach before, but not in this level, so it's something that you learn all the time, and you have to deal and face with problems all the time. It's really tough.
But you're responsible for making Douglas Jr. that strong, are you?
Yes.
The guy's a beast, isn't he?
But yes, not only me, but when I arrived here, he was recent injured and had a surgery recent, so it was really hard, not only for me, for all the coaching staff. Our physiotherapist Thiago also had a huge responsibility on his recovery, to return to his best moments.
How many minutes does he usually play a match? I would say over 30 minutes, isn't it?
Yes, it depends. On the national team, he plays much more, like 32, 35, 30. But in the club, he play a little bit less, but he used it to play a lot of time, like 25, 26. He is always the player who play most of the time in our team. I used to do the statistics, and he used to play 26, 27. Last game against Tumen, he played 32.
I would say we covered the World Cup. We had other podcasts during the World Cup. And I think he was the player with the most minutes in the World Cup.
Yes,
Um,
yes, he was.
and surprisingly, Ricardinho was one of the with a lot of minutes as well. I was surprised with that. But yeah, it's incredible that Douglas Jr. he plays a lot and he's always very fit. There was a UEFA that you guys lost in the grand final, I think, to Sporting. Is that correct?
Yes,
He had an
2009.
amazing,
Yes,
yeah, he had an amazing UEFA after the grand final. Sent him a message and said, "Man, don't worry, you had an amazing tournament. Heads up, you come back stronger."
yes, he had an injury in the beginning of the game, because he was returning. He returned from the surgery in January, so we had like 4 months to put him in shape after a surgery on the knee. So it was really hard for us. And every time, most of the players who had that surgery, they have like afterwards some kind of muscles injuries due to the conditioning, that you have to do right after. It's really tough. And he got this injury, his huge injury in his muscles on the leg in the beginning of the game, I guess. And he kept playing all the game with that big injury. It's like after the game we did the MRI and we saw the injury was really big on the muscles. And it's incredible how he could play all the game and score in the end of the game. It's really unbelievable. That's why we used to say that he's the Iron Man.
He's the Iron Man.
He do some things that no other players can do.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the strongest players in the world. Probably he's my favorite defender in the world. I think there's a few. I'll mention him, Rodrigo from Brazil, but there's also Lozano. There's a few amazing defenders. He's up there. I think he's one of the Romulo from Russia, also not the Brazilian. But there's only a few Brazilian players that can defend against Ferrão, against people. Did you watch him play against Ferrão? You played against Ferrão a few times, haven't you?
Yes, we played against Ferrão a few times. Yes.
Can you tell that Ferrão is the best player in the world currently?
Yes, I think he's the best player currently, especially considering that he scores a lot of time. It's hard when you give him a chance to shoot the ball. The chance of scoring is really big. That's why you need to have a strong defensive system. Not only the defender, the main defender, the fixo. It's not only the fixo, it's the wings. You have to connect because the teams that Ferrão play, Brazilian national team, Barcelona, they have some set plays for him. It's not only give him the ball and decide. They used to put him in the best spots to do his job, to do his movements. So it's really hard to defend against him. I guess he's the best player. I think Pani Varela from Portugal is really playing. He deserves a better to be recognized as a very good player currently. Tainan, I love Tainan playing.
Yes.
Some of the players that I really love these days, in the current time. That's my opinion.
I agree with you. I think Pani was so important for Portugal in the World Cup. I think he finished with 8 goals, Ferrão with 9. But
yes, we are expecting. We are really expecting that we are there in the live action, and we are really expecting to Higuita to be part of the 3 best players because Higuita did like his best championship ever. He won 2 UEFA championships and 5 times best goalkeeper, and he had a chance to be in his best level now with like 35 years old and doing the best championship of his career. And we are really expecting him to win an individual prize award. It was a shame, in my opinion, was a pity, in my opinion, that he didn't had a trophy for himself because he really deserved it. I don't think the Argentinian goalkeeper didn't deserve Nico. He really deserved that, but I think, in my opinion, Higuita deserved more. That's my humble opinion. Not only because I'm his coach, because he represents the what we used to say the modern goalkeeper. He saved a lot of balls, like Nico, like everybody, like Bebe, like all the best goalkeepers in the World Cup, like Gita, and he played very well with the ball. He did what he used to do on daily basis, as everybody knows. So that's why I really think he deserved that. And not only him, but Pani Varela deserved to be the best player of the World Cup. I really respect Ricardinho. He's a legend. I love to see him playing. But I think that's my opinion, and I guess this is the opinion of many other futsal people, that Pani Varela really deserved that better, the number one, in that World Cup.
Yeah, look, I agree with everything you said. Whoever lost between Nico and Leo would be upset, because they both deserve it to be the best goalkeeper in the tournament.
Yes.
I think they were both perfect, in my opinion. Nothing to say. But you guys just missed out the grand final. You just lost on penalties to Portugal. I know it's hard to say, but is there anything that you guys could have done better? Or is just details of the game?
Yes, I think it's the details of the game. It's the beauty of the game, because if we win, Portugal would be here talking about the details of the game, that they missed the game, but they really deserve it. Like we deserve it as well. We don't have a good hand of experienced players for this kind of tournament. We really played very well, but we don't have like two teams of really good players that we can be replacing all the time. And we finalized the World Cup with the players really tired, because they played a lot of time. So it was really hard for us right after the World Cup. When we played against Brazil, we are really tired.
You guys, we could tell.
Like 16 awesome players that they can just pick up and put the tactical plan, and they would do it. But for us, was really hard. Especially we missed a lot of Leo Jaraguá, because couldn't play in the World Cup. And if we had Leo, for sure, we would have a better luck on the tournament.
Was Leo injured for the World Cup?
Yes, he got a surgery on the knee. Yes, in May, I guess. He's in recovery now. I think he will play the Euro now in January.
So you guys had the Brazilians. You had only Leo and Tainan, or anyone else?
Tainan and Douglas.
And Douglas, sorry, correction. Let's talk about Douglas before. How is the relationship between the Brazilian players and the local players for the club and for the national team? Are the local players learning from the Brazilians?
Yes, for sure. I think it's a good relationship. Not in the beginning, but a long time. I guess they have ups and downs, but always with very good respect between them. They always respected us, in between them. And I think they understand the value, the importance of them. The Brazilians understand that in the national team, I'm speaking, that we need the local players to play well. They have to make the local players playing well, because if they don't play, they can't decide by themselves. Tainan can't play by himself. Douglas can play only by himself, just tackling the ball and scoring. That's not the way things happen. In order to Gita do his best as a flying goalkeeper, he needs the 4 players doing the movements correctly. So I think it's a connection between them that makes the success of the national team. And also we are now with a change of the generation in the sports and the futsal sports here, and the new players like Virgiano Razov, Tursagulov have a different relationship with them. And it's even better than before, so it's something that they really respect and learn a lot between them.
It takes time to become a family. You can't just become a family after 1 year, 2 years. I saw the other day a really nice video of Coach Kaká. I think it was Douglas. I think they were doing a traditional thing on the court with one of the local players' baby. That was really nice to see.
Yes. That this is something really interesting, because it was the first time a local player got an invitation for the main coach and two players to be the it's like a baptism in the Muslim culture here in Kazakhstan. It's in Kazakh culture, and it's a baptism of the child. And he invited Kaká, Douglas, and Igita. Birjan invited them to participate in this ritual, and it was really interesting. And they were really honored with that invitation, and it was for me also, and for everybody who was there, was really interesting, and really it's something to be grateful, to be part of that. And it's something that represents what I'm talking about, the connection of the players. It's the big thing about this representation, I think.
Yeah, it says a lot, and it was very beautiful to watch. Luizinho, we're coming to closer to an end, but there's something very important, not very important, something very I want to talk to you about your relationship with Leo with Igita. Okay, so you say that you coach him in Rio, then you're coaching him in Kazakhstan for so many years. The last 6 years, he won 5 best goalkeeper in the world. How is your relationship with him as a coach and also as a friend?
Yeah, of course, we are friends. Long time that I had a chance to, I was really lucky, and I'm really grateful to be part of his career in 3 different parts of his career, in the beginning of the professional level, and then in the middle in 2014 for a season, and then now. So I'm really grateful and honored to be part of this path. And I think he also think this way about me. We always had a very good relationship inside and outside the pitch. And of course, not mixing things. He knows that I respect the professional level too much, and when I have to say something, I used to say something that maybe don't make him happy, because it's part of my job.
What would be something that you would tell him that wouldn't make him happy?
Yes, and I think we never had any kind of awkward situation between us. I guess we always had a chance to work together, and here in Kairat we used to have also another Brazilian goalkeeper. This is the first season without a second Brazilian goalkeeper, and we have to consider that and then give respect for all of them. I can show everybody my friendship, and I can confuse things about friendship inside, because I have another goalkeeper, so I have to respect them. So with Marcão Affini in 2014, and also with Dudu, I always gave him my best as a goalkeeper coach in order to make them better as well, not only Leo, and also them doing their best. Leo is the kind of goalkeeper that thinks this way. He needs another goalkeeper to push him, if he sees Dudu saving all the balls in a training session on the other side of the pitch, he decides, I have to do the same here. I have to. It's all about respect, The respect between them comes from the challenge between them, for the number one, as I used to say.
Yeah, goalkeepers have to be challenged. You're right. In the last UEFA, the grand final, Igita got suspended for the grand final, and in the grand final, the young boy played what's his name? I don't know his name.
Narun.
And he had a good game in the grand final.
Yes. This guy, it's really interesting, his history, because he is one of the first players of our grassroots categories that had a chance to play in the main team. Most of the players, even the Kazakh players, came from another cities, not from our academy.
So he's a local player.
Yes. This guy grew up seeing Igita playing, and he used to do. It's incredible. He used to do all the movements like Igita, and he do very good movements, not only copying with knowledge. He do the things like Igita, the way he plays, the way he positioned his body inside the pitch, and everybody could saw him playing in that level. We had this COVID situation with Dudu by the last minute, and we have this situation, and he really played very well. We've been working with him. He was playing the national championship here, and we had very good expectations with him and for his career. And due to that performance, he had a chance to go to the World Cup. He was never called up before. After that UEFA Kaká called him to be the third goalkeeper, and he played. He was part of the national team in the World Cup.
That's very good
and
to
now
hear.
he's the second goalkeeper. And due to his performance, the club decided not to renew the contract with the Brazilian, and Dudu had a chance now in Atapak from Czech Republic, and now he is the second goalkeeper. You know, he's gonna play today.
He's gonna, because is Higuita not playing the game today for you guys?
Yes, Higuita is not playing. He got
an
injury.
You guys have 2 games these 2 days. How does it work there? You have how many games today?
Yes, it's like the Russian championship here. We used to play twice against the same team every week. So every round we play twice against the same team. So we're gonna play twice today and tomorrow against Baitatek, and then on the next round we're gonna play against Aktubi twice again, and then go home and guess. So we're gonna play a lot of games.
So you play 2 games on the weekend like Russia. That makes sense.
Yes.
Talking about Higuita again, what makes him the best goalkeeper in the world? What's something unique that he has?
I think his talent, of course, and his decision-making process, you know, the way the things work in his mindset. And always, he's always receptive to the training, you know. And Kaká used to give him a lot of different sessions with playing as a player, playing different type of training sessions for flying goalkeeper. And it's something that always bring his best for the sessions. He used to do the crazy things, the talent things all the time in the sessions, not only on the game. But he's a type of guy that don't look back for the mistakes. He keep always looking forward, you know. That's why sometimes he commits some kind of same mistakes on the game, miss the ball and concede a goal. But by the end of the day, he had a plus number, because he gave us more than we miss. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a character to watch. We need more players like him so futsal can grow around the world. That's for sure, because everyone loves watching him. But just the other day, a long ball came. He controlled with his chest. The ball went back and nearly went inside of the goal. How was your height at the moment?
I was not paying attention, because I used to do the statistics. I was not looking to the pitch, because, you know, nobody knows, but the referee stopped the situation because there is a 2-man player injured. So that's why he did that.
That's why he did it. Okay.
Nobody heard that.
He's a step ahead of everyone.
Yes, I told him, don't let anybody knows that in the social media, because everybody was thinking that you were crazy, but you know what's going on the game. But beside that, nobody saw that. I'm gonna put on social media in the future. He saved a ball with his head. He left the gate on 1v1 situation, and the 2-man guy trying to cover him, and he saved with his head. Nobody saw that. It's incredible, because it's a really interesting save. So he did a lot of good things in this elite round, and he faced one of the guys I considered the guy it's closer to Higuita performance, Léo Gugiel. I think Brazil now has his own Léo Higuita. You know, in the future we're gonna say Léo Gugiel, but now he can say Léo Higuita. But he really had this kind of confidence to do some things like Higuita used to do. You know, the high balls, the shooting, the quality passings. But it's really, really good to work with him. Not when he misses the ball, of course, but most of the time he gave us his best, and I'm really grateful for that.
I think it'll be a good experience for him and for you and for him to work with you. Luizinho, he's now 35 years old. How old can a goalkeeper be, the oldest to play at a high level?
It depends on the way the player goes with his career, you know, the way he deals with his career. Leo, for example, a couple of years ago, he decided to change his diet. You know, he decided to become a vegan, part vegan.
Oh, really? He's now a vegan now.
Yes, and the change in his body was immediate. He had immediately a change in his body, the composition of his body, the fat percent in his body was really low now, and he not used it to be high, of course, but he's really in the level of the lowest players of the team, and in this thing. And this is something that gives him a fast recover from games, fast recover from injuries. So he's now really confident to keep pushing himself more and more, you know, with 35 years old. I showed him a Netflix documentary. I forgot the name. I just know the name in Portuguese, Dieta de Gladiadores. There's another whole different name in English.
Maybe I'll just translate the gladiator diet.
No, it's not
maybe
a
it's not the name.
It's another one. It's really interesting. The guy showing how this type of diet can change.
I have watched. I can't remember the name as well.
Player. It's really, really, really interesting. And he used to be a meat lover, you know, something like this. He really loves a beef barbecue or something like that. I never thought that he could do this kind of thing in his career, and I'm really happy to also be part of that, because I just showed him like something that he could want to see, and he saw that and decided to do that. You know, I think if the injuries that come with time don't bother him a lot, he can keep pushing himself until the next World Cup, I guess.
So he's definitely going to be playing the next World Cup.
Yes, we've been discussing that eventually, you know, and of course it's something that for him and Douglas, he started to think about that, what they're going to do the next years, but he don't think about stopping now and the next years, I guess. He will continue. Good. It depends on each one of the players. If the player decided to have a healthy career, you know, it's something really hard not to drink Coca-Cola, not to drink too much beer, not to drink, not to eat too much fast food. You know, it's something that you really have to agree and have to do, because if you want to play more time, you have to start earlier to take care of his career, of your career, in all the ways, you know, and the diet and your behavior on daily basis, you know.
Yeah, hopefully.
A very good example, of course, is Bagé. It's incredible how Bagé
is still playing or no?
Yeah, he's still playing. 40, I guess. I don't know. I guess he has already 50 years old and he's still playing. It's unbelievable, because he used to do good saves. He kept doing good. He kept doing good saves and doing good performances in his club.
Bagé, for who doesn't know, he's this iconic goalkeeper in Brazil. When I left to come to Australia 11 years ago, he was over 40 already. I think he was like 45. That was 11 years ago. I remember he was playing for AABB.
Yes, I guess he used to play. He plays for ABB, I guess.
He's still, currently. So
I don't know.
I really don't know. In his 50s now and still playing. That's amazing.
And I used to have him as my idol when I was a kid, because he had my name, Luis Enrique. So I really like the way he plays, because when I was a kid, I had this thing in common. He has my name, so I want to be a goalkeeper like him, you know. But of course, I have other idols like Lavoisier and Serginho, all those guys that I had a chance to see closer.
Now, very good. So we hope many more years for Leo Higuita, for Douglas Jr., because these iconic players, we get sad just to think that one day they're going to retire. Ricardinho, now he's retired from the national team, and he's soon going to retire from club. And we don't want these players to ever stop. We need more idols like these guys.
Yes.
Luizinho, what's the future like for you? What's left in your career to achieve?
Well, for me now, the biggest dream now is to validate the UEFA Champions Trophy. I want to win this trophy again. Yeah. I think it's the main thing for me, especially because I'm working here in Europe. So it's the main thing.
As a club or as a country?
As a club. Of course, as a country, I had a chance. We're gonna play now the UEFA Euro in January.
In the Netherlands.
It's something that I would. It's achievement for me. It would be keep playing this high level with national teams, World Cup. It was a really a very good experience to play the World Cup. The atmosphere, the environment, everything related to the World Cup, being inside the pitch, inside the tournament. It's something that made me really happy. And maybe if I had a chance, I want to repeat that. I understood completely when Rodrigo gave that last interview talking about returning to the World Cup as a player, because it's something that amazes the futsal lovers to be part of that. I used to say about that time that's our Disneyland, to be inside Lithuania and playing that tournament. Our Disneyland, to be part of that for a month. So I would like it to say to you that's my main goal. I have just this year in my contract with Kairat, and I don't know what's going to happen on the next season, but I would like to keep working in Europe. It's something that's a goal for me and my family, to stay here and to stay close to my family. And so this is something that some of the achievements, repeat some of them, and had a chance for new opportunities in the future, the near future.
Now, that's very good to hear, Luizinho. So I would like to thank you for this amazing interview. I've learned so much from you. It's been great to listen to you. It's been an absolute pleasure to have someone like you for #1 Futsal and Proud podcast.
Well, how can I say? I'm really honored, as I told you in the beginning, and I would like to thank you a lot to give me this opportunity to talk about futsal, something that I love and I do for a living for a long time. So every time I speak about futsal, it's something that amazes me, and I'm really honored. And well, every time you need, everyone who needs me, I'm available. If I had a chance to help or do something, I will do for sure. Thank you one more time for the opportunity to talk about futsal.
We can see the passion in your eyes, and that's very beautiful to see. Luizinho, thank you again. Congratulations on your amazing career. We wish you all the best for the future. Everyone for listening, thank you so much for listening to your Futsal and Proud podcast #1. Our next one is going to be in 1 month. Until then, you can listen to my weekly podcast, Caro Futsal Podcast, that comes out weekly. Thank you again, and I'll see you guys next time. Boa, perfeito. Bom demais.
O inglês ficou meio enrolado, mas
você fala muito bem, cara.
Mas eu